Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered. Whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
John, I won't let her go cool down, but we can do a couple.
Yeah, right now?
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Okay, great.
You got it all inside of you.
Yeah, should work fine. Can I have 10 seconds or 20 seconds?
Okay.
I didn't know, sorry.
All right.
That's fine. He just wants to. Yeah, yeah, no, that's fine. You can just time and then
Feel it to be true. And when you dance,
Yeah, sure.
Is it okay to stand here, or you'd rather sit down there?
where do you want me?
Standing here? is
Here? Okay. Yep.
I don't want to, make you stand up for too long. Okay, let me just check the camera's on. Yes, it is. What a return! Leila Fernandez! Think about Match point, ladies and gentlemen. Championship Billie Jean King Cup point. Get her in somehow. What attacking? What defense? Wow! Wow! Look at this! Boy,
I was probably a little bit bamboozled with with everything. Sorry.
And Billie Jean King Cup 2023, that's a wrap.
Play. Ready? Play.
Well, hello there.
Hi.
Hello, it's nice to see you.
It's been so long.
It's been a very long time. Our viewers, I would like to apologise for starting the stream slightly late. As you can see, I've still got a little bit of bed hair. But I suppose, Isabel, you're probably wishing you were in bed.
Just a little bit.
It's gone midnight, right?
Yeah.
Not quite. Okay, well, hardcore fan staying up for what is a clash of two Australian Open champions right now, Aryna Sabalenka and Victoria Azarenka. The 2023 champion versus the 2012 and 2013 champion. And we're just about to get through the first game. So with Sabalenka serving first at 40-15. Isabel, how many sleepless nights have you been spending watching tennis? Probably not that many, because probably the late matches are the ones that are going to kill you. But
Yeah. Well, it's the start of the season, so I've been a little slow to get back with it. Just had my first one the other night with the oh God, I can't even remember who was playing now. But we did it was Svitolina and Raducanu. That was my first match of the season.
Oh yeah.
and
John asked me if I wanted to do that one, and it was just slightly too early.
it was a great match.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Did I get it? No, I woke up after the first set,
Oh, okay.
so I missed the first set and then watched the second set, and that was fantastic. And then third set I had on. I think I had to. I think I had to have it on the background while I was working.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fantastic match. Really, really good.
Really great. It was an excellent start for both players to their Australian season. But yeah, I'm fully prepared for the month of January to be a lot of sleepless nights.
I mean, what you're currently experiencing is what I experienced during the US Open, where
Yeah, totally
I can catch
fair.
the day matches, but the night matches, I have to make a decision about whether it's worth staying up for.
Yeah. Usually the beginning of the Australian Open is a little easier because there's so many matches going on. They start at like 8 or 9 p.m. On the West Coast, but the later it gets, they start at 11, they start at midnight, they start at 1, and I'm not working right now, so I can handle it. But if I get called for a job, it's going to be really impossible.
A very positive start from Azarenka, getting a backhand cross court in the opening point of this service game. So second game of the match, 15 love for Azarenka. Yeah. So obviously, Svitolina Raducanu was in Auckland. I think you and I have probably done something similar where we've been watching bits of tennis from different tournaments. I think I was watching a lot of United Cup at the start, and then my interest shifted more to Brisbane, with occasionally going over to Auckland for Raducanu matches. That being said, I'm definitely watching the Auckland final between Coco Gauff and Alina Svitolina because I think that's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I don't know what time that is yet, but that's going to be good fun. And then obviously this match. So have you seen much of Sabalenka or Azarenka in action? Because they both made the headlines yesterday for different reasons.
No, I haven't. I haven't really, since the end of the US Open, I sort of fell off with it a bit, so I haven't been keeping up. Why were both of them in the headlines?
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, I had to fix something there. So I think yesterday Azarenka had a fun 3-set match with Elena Ostapenko, which I think made some entertaining headlines. Moni Ostapenko having unheard of at an umpire, and thinking the world's against her, even though everything was legitimate. And Sabalenka, unsurprisingly, given the power difference, but cruised past Kasatkina and has been barely dropping games all week.
Oh, okay. That doesn't surprise me from Sabalenka. I feel like she takes everything a little too personally.
What, Ostapenko, you mean?
Yes, Ostapenko. Sorry, not Sabalenka.
It's like Sabalenka is actually pretty chill. What?
No, yeah, sorry. I had Ostapenko's face in my head, but I'm looking at Sabalenka right now. Yeah, Ostapenko. Oh my God, I got to see her when I was at the U.S. Open. I saw her match against Coco. But yeah, she's hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah. Great. Great matches, but really, great match to watch. Like I remember her winning that French Open and was absolutely breathtaking. Tennis, like the power she was producing, and sometimes she can't make it with her tennis. Can't help but make you go wow, but she also is there's a definite sort of sense of entitlement to her. I remember I was when I was at Birmingham, I I was sat next to someone. I was at the finals when she was playing Krejcikova, and I was sat next to someone who was there because her partner was one of the line umpires, and she was very much rooting against Ostapenko because she knows how she treated umpires. Line judges, line umpires. I know which it is in the States, but both apply. But I think, ironically, in the end, Ostapenko was in a good mood, so it didn't matter too much.
So you might be a little ahead of me in this match.
I've just seen Sabalenka hit a backhand volley for 15 love.
Yeah, I'm
That's
not.
1-all.
I'm not there. The stream that I now have on the infamous tennis channel in the States is very behind. When we were doing the Svitolina match the other day,
Okay.
I was like a game and a half behind.
Right.
So
Okay.
you're
Okay.
gonna, I'll let you carry
What's
this
the
one.
score on yours?
Oh, of course they've just taken the scoreline away.
Well, okay, so it's 1-1 30 love for me. Oh, they're taking the
Okay.
score away, so they're probably the end of the game, right?
They just finished the second game, so it's 1-all.
Okay, so you're 2 points behind me. I'm a point behind the scoreboard, probably. I don't know. We've got Sabalenka hits a huge forehand winner, 40 love. So yeah, unsurprisingly for us. Okay, so you're about a game behind. So this could be interesting. But we can get your reaction to things as they come. But I think a lot of our American friends are probably going to be very struggling. I mean, I know I'm a little bit behind. I've done everything I can. I can't make my stream quicker, unfortunately. I think that's just down to how the cookie crumbles with Sky Sports now.
Oh yeah, everything's moved to Sky Sports.
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah, I'm paying a little bit more to watch tennis now than I was. Unfortunately, because the WTA likes to do exclusivity deals. Otherwise, I would follow. I would just get whatever streamers I could get most of them on. Not so worried about the ATP. But yeah, the WTA, it seems to be very much we can make more money by doing deals with different places around the world than putting everything on tennis TV.
They really just don't want us to be fans, it seems. They just make everything so difficult for us.
Yeah.
So who
backhand
do you favor in this match?
I mean, who do you favor could be answered in two different ways.
It's hard to say.
Who do you favor could mean who are you rooting for? Answer is I don't have a favorite out of these two, really. I like them both, obviously. I like Sabalenka's personality, and Azarenka. I think I've always never felt to be impressed by, given how she was one of the few players who was able to compete with Serena. Not necessarily because I didn't like Serena, but I just wanted a competition. But yeah, I'm too bothered about who I want to win. In terms of who I think will win, I think Sabalenka currently has the edge for me. I think the way she's been playing, I think she can. I think she hits harder than Azarenka, and obviously she's very, very. I think she's unbeaten in Australia at the minute. Hasn't lost a match in Australia since the 2022 Australian Open. And by Australia, I mean Australia, the country, not just Australia, the main tournament. Sure. So for me, I think Sabalenka's gonna have the edge. So yeah, I think that's going to be a. I think it's going to be good though. I think Azarenka's going to compete well. Obviously, she came through Ostapenko pretty nicely, and she seems to really thrive in Australia. The commentators were saying earlier, like, not only did she win her 2 Grand Slams here, she won her first title here in Brisbane in her career in 2009, which is insane to think how long she's been playing.
Does she have 2 Grand Slam titles? I thought it was just the one.
No, 2 Australian 2012 and 2013 Australian Open titles.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, she beat Sharapova in 2012, 6-3, 6 love. And then she beat Lee Na in the 2013 final in 3 sets.
Yeah. I think I
Came
think
very close to the US Open. I remember that one.
yeah. I think I agree with you that Sabalenka has the edge, but I do think Azarenka will easily hold, and this might just be a tie break.
You say that she's just double faulted on my screen.
Okay, well, I'm not there yet, Nick.
Fair.
I can only speak to what I've seen so far.
Matthew, to answer your question, I don't know what those are. I'm assuming the television channels, but I've never used them.
Be-in and Dazin, is that what
Yeah.
is?
Yeah, there must be some kind of European sports channels, but I've never watched them. I'm not one of those people who buys a VPN or gets a free one, which is even riskier, and watches in other countries. So I just stick to what I can get in the UK, and yeah, so never. Okay, though, Dazen is a German channel, Bayin is a Middle East channel. Yeah, can't get either of them. I mean, as far as I'm aware. I mean, if they do expand and I can legally get them in the UK, then I might look at it. But obviously, that's going to have to be commentary off, because if it's in German or Arabic, I've got no idea what they're saying.
So I'm scrolling back on some of the comments here. It looks like Jen Brady has pulled out of the Open.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Do
That's
we
a
know
bit
why?
probably injury, I would expect. I mean, obviously she's pretty low ranked, but
Yeah.
did you know there was someone on Twitter who was like tracking the number of withdrawals Emma Raducanu needed to get into the main draw, and like she needed 6 players to pull out.
I'm guessing she got it, or
got in, yeah, because about 7 people have now withdrawn. Jennifer Brady's the 7th withdrawal ahead of the tournament. Oh, net court for Azarenka. Sabalenka's come in. Azarenka's gone wide. Break point Sabalenka. 30-40. Agreed with you, Sean. Amazon was great, and I'm going to miss them. But unfortunately, it appears they decided to. They'd rather spend all their money on trying to get Premier League football in the UK.
that was one of the biggest perks to living in the UK, was getting to watch all the tennis on Amazon.
One of the few perks of living in the UK.
What did I say? One of the few? I meant only. The only perk.
As somebody who lives here. Ace from Azarenka to save the breakpoint juice. I'm sorry if you guys are hoping for us to describe the action. We're getting warmed up, okay? I mean, I'm waking up and Isabel's trying to stay awake. Backhand in play from Azarenka to the backhand of Azarenka. Forehand Azarenka to the forehand of Sabalenka. Training backhands. They're going up the line at the minute. Forehand cross court. Forehand cross court. Forehand up the line Azarenka. Backhand Sabalenka. Oh, that's too good. Azarenka can't run it down. There's too much speed on that. And it's advantage Sabalenka again for a break point.
I could never do commentary the way you do.
I don't know. I
on the action.
The way I do.
You always remind me of like those old radio hosts who would like dictate like horse races.
And today on Talking Tennis Radio, we will be bringing you the match from Brisbane between Victoria Azarenka and Aryna Sabalenka. Azarenka, the ball toss on his first serve. Goes
so now I'm at breakpoint Sabalenka.
up the tee. Which one? Inside out forehand. Azarenka's coming in behind it. Great volley on the line. Sabalenka just picks it up. Oh, she's celebrating. Either Azarenka's shot volley was wide, which it did look like it could have been, or the attempt at the pass was so good that Azarenka couldn't control it. Either way, Sabalenka is a break up in the game. Here we go. Got a replay. So volley from Azarenka. So
I think it hit the line. Sabalenka really scrambled to pick the forehand up, but she got it over the net, and it was right at Azarenka's feet. Azarenka just sort of tapped the volley. It went up in the air and landed her own side of the net. So Sabalenka now has the early break, 3-1. You're way behind. I'm not expecting you for
I'm
now.
so behind.
But that's what you've got to look forward to.
Yeah. I'm on the second break point, Sabalenka.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is the one that with all the drama on it. So actually, you're not that far behind because it only took 2 break points. Sabalenka's already powering ahead in this game, 15 love. Matthew, I agree with you. I'm not a journalist. I'm also an academic nerd. If you're interested in writing some pieces on tennis, Popcorn Tennis would definitely publish them for you. Like that's how Isabel and I met. Was we both submitted pieces on there. Although I say met, we've never actually met in person. I came to Wimbledon the wrong year.
Yes. Well, that's how we know each other.
Yeah, it's how we know each other. And then obviously we've done a couple of streams together.
I would love to go back to Wimbledon. I don't know if it'll happen this year. I really
It's a
really
lifetime
regret.
saving, I think.
I know. Well, I really regret not going last year because I got tickets through the
The ballot.
was it
Okay.
ballot. Yeah, they offered me tickets through the ballot, and it was so early at that point that I thought, oh, there's no way I can make this work right now. But then, so I passed on it. But then when I saw, a lot of people from Popcorn and Talking Tennis meeting up at Wimbledon, I was like, I should have gone. I just should have gone for it. Like, who needs money? Like, I should have just done it. So I'll see how my finances are this year. Maybe I'll make a last minute trip out there.
I wasn't necessarily I wasn't sure if I was going to go this year, but my mum really, really wants to go. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got to go with mum if we can get tickets. So I will probably be there. If I'm there at the same time as some of the Popcorn Talking Tennis crew, great. Matthew, if you want to stretch your muscles, if you want to maybe put that angry tweet into an a Word document or a Google Doc of some kind, send it to Popcorn Tennis. Their email's on their Twitter. So go to @PopcornTennis1 on Twitter, X. I don't know what kind of person you are. And just say, hey, watch the stream with Nick. He said, send this in. Doesn't matter how long it is. Doesn't matter how short it is. We've definitely had a 500 word piece submitted through to 4,000 word pieces submitted, mainly by Owen. If you haven't read any of our stuff, it's worth taking a look. Owen has probably written the definitive breakdowns of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic.
Very much,
in my view. Yeah,
there's a lot of variety on that blog.
We haven't posted anything for a while. I've been too busy to write anything. I
haven't had any ideas.
I've got an idea, but like most of my ideas are around tennis history. That's what I'm most interested in writing about.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so I've just got to sit down and write the thing. I sent Owen a massive sort of diary of everything that happened in 2023 for people to kind of look back and review. It was 8,000 words. I don't think he published it.
I would love to do a deep dive piece on all of the like sexism in women's tennis that is still like absurdly prominent, but I simply do not have the time to attack it the way a real journalist would.
We're not real journalists, Isabel.
I know, but like I just think I would need so much evidence to back up my theories and my ideas, and I just don't have the time or the energy to do it. So if anyone else out there wants to, I also am the type of person that, I just want to gossip about tennis players. That's what I'm doing here. That's my whole tennis persona. So
That's
I don't
what
know
we
if I
yeah.
need to write like serious tennis think pieces all the time.
No, that's fair enough. Well, I would say Sabalenka. By the way, Sabalenka's having trouble holding at the minute, but she hasn't faced any break points, but she's at advantage again. But for you, I would say, unfortunately, sexism in women's tennis is not going away. I feel like it's not going to suddenly disappear in 2024.
I mean,
So
God
you
no.
it will probably be relevant whenever you decide to write it. So I would say, yeah, keep it on the back burner maybe when you feel like watching it. And also, let's face it, I think you don't have to. You're saying like looking for evidence. Half the journalists I'm aware of don't even worry about evidence before publishing something.
I know, but I would just want to have like a large backlog of quotes and you know, like primary evidence that the old school journalists would have, just to back up, you know, everything I have to say.
You want to have
And
some
I just don't
integrity,
have the
and
time.
yeah, you want to have integrity, and integrity takes time.
Yeah. I'm
It's
busy
4-1, by
though.
the way. Change of ends. So we'll keep you abreast as much as I can, as much as we can. But I was expecting the match to be a little bit more competitive, but it is only the one break.
Yeah, well, clearly my idea that Azarenka would hold pretty easily has been shot. So clearly I'm not as good at this as I thought.
Well,
You
no,
never you never know with this sport. That's the annoying thing. You really never know. You can make a prediction and be totally right one day and wrong the next day.
oh, I know. That's why I'm not. Look, I hate to tell you this. Neither of us are experts. We're just very passionate fans who know a little bit about what they're talking about.
Maybe.
Although, having said that, what was it? When we were doing our Matches of the Year series in December, around Christmas time, and I was, I basically, for the ones that I appeared on, I went back and rewatched the streams where I commentated on it, because I think I commentated on all 3 matches. I went back and relived, which was, and yeah, you did,
Svitolina Azarenka.
Azarenka.
I
did.
commentated that one and did the favorites.
Yeah, I did Jibber,
broadcast.
Sabalenka, Swiatek Mukova, and Swiatek Sabalenka. But but what I did was like, I don't have time to I can't rewatch the match. The highlights are terrible. I'll just rewatch the Talking Tennis stream and remember what it was I said, and then just say meditate, because I couldn't remember. I knew vaguely what I thought of the match, but I thought, let's see what I thought at the time. Yeah, but I think one of them you were on it. You were on. I forget which one it was that I was rewatching with you. It might have been the Madrid final, actually. It was the Madrid final.
Who was in that?
That was where Sabalenka and Swiatek had that epic 3-setter.
Oh yeah.
And I was just listening to you on it, and I was like, damn, that's good analysis. She knows what she's talking about. Like, you were saying really, really
That's
good
such a
stuff.
high compliment. Well, I mean, I feel like I've learned so much about analysis just in the last like two years or so, you know, like since we sort of started doing this Talking
Yes,
Tennis channel. And when I was living in the UK, I used to visit one of our other pundits, Jack, in Scotland, and he gave me tennis lessons. So I learned a lot about playing. So I got better at like understanding the game, and just like talking about it all the time on here has taught me so much. So, but I really appreciate you saying that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I have anything to say.
I mean, look, if we both went back to our first times doing this stream, we'd be both feel like, what on earth are we doing? But yeah, and by the way, Jack, whenever we get him back on a stream, that's going to be worth a watch, because his knowledge of the game is just incredible.
Oh yeah, truly one of the best. But he's moving up in the world.
Yes. Yes. I mean, wait, hang on. There's some news I don't know.
Well, I just think he this is his like career.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Whereas for us, it's a hobby, but like this is his career, so he's really like trying to make it
Fair.
doing
Yeah.
this.
Oh, yeah, because he's on the Line podcast as well.
Yeah.
Good luck, Jake. Speak for himself. Great backhand from Azarenka, who's come into net at 40-15. Hits the overhead, hits the winner, gets the game. She keeps it to one break, 4-2 Sabalenka, who doesn't look happy that she's only got one break. But, you know, she's still ahead in this match. Yeah, this is I appreciate we haven't talked about much about the actual tennis going on, but you know, I think there's a little bit of catching up going on here. Probably not the most professional. Oh well. So yeah, we've got Sabalenka on court. Thanks to everyone who's joining, by the way. I'll try to give you a description. So we got big serve, huge return from Azarenka, and Sabalenka can't live with it. Love 15. That's a big return from Azarenka, who Jake in the chat has said is one of the best returners of women's tennis.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else is good. Like, obviously Garcia, if on her day, is obviously a very scary returner.
I mean, are we talking active players?
Active, yes.
Okay.
Because obviously, yes, someone like Serena, but you got Iga as well. Very, very like the return's a key part of her game. Otherwise, how else would she get so many bagels? I think
back in, I mean, well, she's active now, so I guess I can say this. Naomi Osaka,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, Naomi's active. Like, unless she officially retires, she's active.
Sure.
That's my view. Like, even I think I would have referred to Naomi as an active player last year, even though she didn't really play.
I'm so happy she's back. I hope she has a decent season.
I completely agree. It's great for tennis to have her back in the mix. And she seems happy, which is lovely. Huge serve out wide, ace at Sabalenka.
So I'm just scrolling through some of our comments. Matthew, what's an example of WTA sexism you're talking about, Isabel? There's so much to touch on there. Biggest thing I would say is that the journalists who get into the rooms, into the press conferences with any WTA player have absolutely no idea about the WTA. They don't follow it. They don't pay attention. They don't care. And it really shows in their questions and their articles. Biggest one I can think of, John just actually mentioned it in the comments. A journalist asked Iga why she doesn't wear makeup on court, which was
that was
one of the most infuriating questions I've ever heard.
Was that
asked to a professional athlete? I think it was.
Yeah, that brought him down in my estimation.
Yeah, not even talking about the match, not talking about tennis, asking her why she doesn't wear makeup. It's just, and you know, so that's a big issue for me, is that the journalists who are getting into these spaces don't even respect the game or the players themselves.
Yeah.
So that's just one example. We could do a whole episode on this.
I know we could. You've got the whole article planned.
I really do, but that's the biggest example I'll give right now.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jake. I appreciate your words.
They were on the screen earlier, Isabel.
I've got dual screens here. I'm trying to watch the match and like look back and forth.
You've got, yeah, you know what, I've got the same problem. I think that's probably why we're not getting an awful lot of live coverage. Sabalenka has held for 5-2 to 30 though. She did have to double fault at one point. I think Sabalenka's feeling a little bit of pressure. It's not all going her own way, and Azarenka is cheering herself up. These two names are really easy to get mixed up.
They're so hard to say one after the other.
There's so many. They're both Enkas. Yes. Yes, John. They're both Enkas, and this is not helping.
Are they both Belarusian?
They are both from Belarus, yes. Yeah. They are Belarus's greatest players because they both won Grand Slams. Before them, the only people that had to boast of was Natasha Zvereva, who made the French Open final in 1988 and was double bageled by Steffi Graf in the final. I think she made a Wimbledon semi-final as well. And then Max Murney, the doubles player, who had a decent singles career as well. Got a few good results, but mainly known for being a very successful doubles player and Olympic gold medalist with Azarenka in 2012 in the mixed.
Okay, so Sabs has had 2 double faults so far. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And I'm only at 4-2. So.
Also, Azarenka is Jake's favorite player. Like, what is it? What is it about Azarenka that appeals to you? I mean, I really like her. Again, also like her as a person as well. And I think she's been through a lot. Like, her personal life really messed around her career, not through any
Yeah.
fault of her own, really.
I also really like her, mostly because I kind of love any WTA player that comes back after having kids. I think it's a really big stigma to break, and it's not easy to do. But I love it whenever they do it, and we have it happening so much more often now.
Yeah.
So
Such a
I
good thing.
kind of give Vika my just that edge of support because I love seeing moms win.
Well, it's like anything else. It's like, I feel like nowadays it's in the real world, it's okay for women to take a break whilst they have a baby. And like, we've got all these support systems in place, but probably much better in the UK than in the US.
Mhm.
Just my assumption.
I think we don't.
But
I mean, I
it's
could be
great
wrong
to see
about
that
this.
female athletes are more able to do it now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could be wrong about this because tennis is the only sport that I follow this much, but I don't really hear the same conversation when we're talking about other sports. Like I
No, I don't
know
either.
on, yeah, I know on the U.S. women's soccer team, there's a lot of mothers on that team, and they're all still great athletes. Not that they wouldn't be, you know. But I don't hear that same conversation when it's like a team sport or something similar. I really only hear it from tennis. But again, that could be because I follow tennis, so that's where I'm going to hear it. But especially after Serena came back, it felt like the conversation was heavily based around that, just because she's one of the biggest athletes in the United States. So,
Yeah, I actually think what held Serena back sort of 18, 19 onwards wasn't the fact that she'd come back from pregnancy. It was her age. It was her age, and that probably is the truth. Like, she was competitive, but kind of getting over the line became trickier. But I don't think.
I'm not
But, like,
sure
she was
though. I'm
young.
not sure.
If she came back from a long layoff in like 2010, destroyed everyone within about a year. 2011.
I'm not sure just because I don't. I mean, we see a lot of other. We see men playing at her age, fine, right?
How old was she?
And
Late 30s. She was
mid
late 30s.
mid. I think
Yeah,
it
I mean,
was mid-30s. I mean, I'm not an expert, so I can't speak as one. But I know from what I've read and heard from her about her the birth of her first daughter, it was incredibly difficult. She nearly died.
it was
I
traumatic.
think
Yeah.
it was traumatic. It took a huge toll on her body, and I think that in itself is very difficult to come back from when you're a professional athlete. And you can factor age into that as well. But I think it was mainly due to the incredibly difficult birth that
That's
she had.
And maybe when you look
Because I
into that
think if she
specific
hadn't,
example, you're probably right. I'm saying I don't want that to be the assumption.
of course not. I don't want that to be the assumption either. But I do think that if she hadn't had a child and she had continued playing to that age, it wouldn't. She would have been kind of the same that she always was. Because she's
Oh,
still, even after having a kid, came back and made it all the way to a final
4
of a
times.
Grand Slam. Yeah, and continued to like make headway there. So
Yeah.
I don't think it had to do as much with age as it did with the huge change that happens in a woman's body when you
Yeah.
go through that. So at this point though, sure, age is a huge factor, but
Mm.
purely because men play well into that age now, I don't want to assume that's
I
the
mean,
case.
you say that. By the way, I want to just talk about the tennis for a second, and then we'll come back to this. It's an important issue. And we're talking about this because obviously Azarenka is a mum who's come back.
Yes.
Sabalenka's just hit a huge forehand cross-court winner to break Sabalenka again and take the set 6-2. Yeah, right now is even though Azarenka's doing her best to put her under pressure, is the better player right now and is kind of going how I thought it might. But yeah. Oh, Dominic Strick is pulled out of the Australian Open. So that's a
No
shame.
back injury.
But going back to what you were saying, yeah. I on the age thing for guys, yeah, men do play into that age. I think how old was Sonia when she came back? 37 after the pregnancy. It was like she was born in 1981. She's the same age as Federer. And
Something like that. Yeah.
and playing into that age isn't a problem, but I'd say very few, even the men, struggle to win majors at that age. Like Roger won his last one at 36.
That's pretty close, though. I mean,
close, yeah.
come
But
on.
Serena kept on going later on. Like Roger, got very, very close at one point, but it was
Let's not talk about it.
It was the one shot he had during that sort of age gap. I think you're finding the Dahl is. I don't think the Dahl's going to win another one.
Oof, yeah,
I do not think Rafael.
It's hard to say.
I know a lot of people are optimistic about his chance at Roland Garros, and you probably shouldn't rule him out. But I don't see him winning another Grand Slam.
I'll have to see how the clay season plays out. You know, I don't really know who, apart from Djokovic, but I don't want to think about him right now. I don't know who of sort of next gen and after who is really the strongest clay court player. Maybe Carlos, but
I mean Carlos by default. Rune.
Oh yeah.
Rune, I would say, is probably the closest to a clay court specialist out of the 3 top next gen, which is him, Alcaraz, and Sinner.
Would you say Tsitsipas still has a chance on clay? Because I know that's one of his better surfaces, if there is one that he's decent at.
I would say yes, but he needs some things to fall his way. He needs to be playing absolutely amazing and not be playing Djokovic or Alcaraz.
Heavy order.
Yes. Like I think he could beat Sinner on clay. Maybe I think Rune's the one I'm not sure about because I haven't seen him play that often.
I'll have to see who comes out on top in what's first, Rome?
No, it's Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo.
Madrid, then Rome for the Masters.
Yeah, so I'll have to see who sort of is the leader in the clay season before I decide whether or not Nadal has a chance.
Are you talking, by the way, when you said next gen, because there are people throwing in names like Ruud and Zverev into the mix.
I don't know what to call them.
Did you mean like the original next gen, or do you mean the now next gen? Because whenever people talk about next gen now, I'm like, Zverev and Tsitsipas and Ruud are all like, they're here now. They're not the next gen. Like Ruud, I think, is a contender. But
you know, I always forget about Ruud. I always forget him, and then he just shows up in finals.
You know what? Ruud, dark horse for this Australian Open. He's had a very, very good United Cup.
Interesting.
He was really good.
He does surprise me.
Oh, he always surprises me.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, I just don't know how to refer to them as a group, because obviously, like, it was so easy for a while because we just had the big 3 and then everybody else. or like the big
And then
four
these
and
this crop of
everybody.
new promising players all showed up at about the same time.
Yeah, and they were called next gen. But
Mm.
now, yeah, they've sort of been around a while, and now we have like a whole new crop. We've got Rune and Alcaraz. So,
I would
and
say
we are just talking ATP right now. But
my general
yeah, I
rule is
don't.
my general rule is anyone aged 22 or under is next gen.
That's fair enough. But then, how do you refer to the older guys that used to be next gen and never really made
Well,
it?
they're just the top 10.
Okay, fair enough.
40-30 on the opening service game for Sabalenka. Put under pressure on the return from Azarenka again. Trading shots at the middle of the court at the minute. Slice from Azarenka cross court under pressure. Backhand up the line from Sabalenka was too good. Winner advantage. Sabalenka. By that I mean she's won the game. And she is on the board already in the first game. Yeah. It's every time I decide to try and actually commentate on what's going on, it always seems to end with a Sabalenka winner.
Them's the breaks.
I mean, there's been 2 of them so far.
Yeah. This could be a really quick match. I didn't really think it would be, but
I didn't think it would be
so
either.
far,
39-minute first set. That's that's a decent length. Usually, I would say a set's competitive. It's like 40 to 45 minutes.
I didn't expect the match I commented the other day, the Raducanu Svitolina match. I really didn't expect that to go 3 sets. I think the first 2 sets were something like 67 minutes or something crazy like
First one
that.
was 71 minutes. The second one was 67.
Yeah, it was really intense.
Such a good match. It's a shame the third set didn't live up to it. But
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was talking about Raducanu kind of physically collapsing, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, it
which is
makes
what
sense.
happened. She was
Yeah.
the first one to do it because I think by the end, Svitolina was struggling
Maybe. Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And it was sort of because they were both. Svitolina was trying to keep herself energized very clearly.
I think that's the second set was really, really, she really had to dig deep on the second set. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think just based off of last season, Svitolina was more in shape to handle it than Raducanu is, because as I think it was Miles said that this is only Raducanu's like second match in 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that she would run out of gas.
We've got 2 Matthews in the chat. That's going to be confusing. Matthew, who's just Matthew, are you a Rublev fan? Good morning, Matthew D'Souza.
I love Rublev. I am such a Rublev fan.
So many people are. So many people are.
He's so lovable, and you just want him to win. And then whenever he reaches the quarterfinals, you're like, maybe this is the time. Maybe this is our chance. And it never is. And it's heartbreaking every single time.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how many more I can take from him.
Because against the current top 4, I don't know if he could beat any of them in a quarterfinal. The current top 4
He hasn't so far.
No. Well, like, even when he's reached the quarterfinal and he didn't play them, like, it's not gone well. That Tiafoe quarterfinal at the US Open a couple of years ago, that was tough. Although, having said that, I like Tiafoe, so I was.
Yeah, I hate to say, I was on Tiafoe's side.
Yeah.
In that, I mean,
I was on Tiafoe's side.
Last year, though, at the Australian, I really thought Rublev had a chance because he did so well, and in that match against Rune, he really pulled it out. He fought so hard. I was like, it's happening, and then I don't know what happened in the quarterfinal. I think it was a real blowout, though. I think it was 3 sets. He was gone.
Who was he playing?
I can't remember.
His last Australian Open, right? So the semi-finalists were Djokovic, Medvedev, Khachanov, and...
That's what I thought. Yeah, it was Djokovic. In my head, I was like, I remember thinking, oh, he's never going to make it. And it was Djokovic. Yeah, 3 sets, 6-1, 6-2, 6-4.
Yes,
Ouch.
Sabalenka has break points, by the way, 15-40. Azarenka double faults at 15-30. Second serve, return back in play from Sabalenka, who's then long, trying to slice a forehand under pressure, 30-40. First break point saved by Azarenka. Matthew updating us on Kerber in the United Cup against Tomjanovic. So I think, ironically, given it's the semi-finals, that's the first United Cup singles match that Kerber's won.
In her
Even
whole
though Germany-
career?
No, in this United Cup. So Germany are in the semis. Kerber's lost all her singles matches. And Azarenka saved the other break point, by the way. Yes, has basically, because Kerber played Paolini, lost, Garcia, lost, and then who did she? And then then she played Sakari, lost. So yeah, to get to the semi-finals before finally winning a match, it's a weird thing with this group format. But it looks like she's turned it around. So it might be a Poland-Germany final.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
there's probably all kinds of really offensive jokes that could be pretty thrown into that.
oh, I was just thinking, I mean, the only Polish player that they really have to go on is Iga. Is she just going to carry that team, or?
Hubert Hurkacz has been playing quite well, actually.
Oh, well, whatever. Big servers, big deal.
I think he lost one match kind of unexpectedly, and that made their lives difficult. I can't remember who he lost to. Oh, ADF. He lost to ADF. But other than that, he's come through his other matches pretty strongly.
I'm not on the Hurkacz train like everybody else.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so Kerber beat Tomjanovic 4-6, 6-2, 7-6, which means Dimonor and Zverev are currently warming up in Australia versus Germany United Cup. Azarenka is held, so that's going to keep her competitive in this set. She's frustrated she's missed the return there, and she's slapping her thigh, Azarenka, 15-love. For those who maybe can't see, Sabalenka is wearing an all-black outfit, whereas Azarenka's got a sort of neon green skirt with sort of a purplish pink top. I think they're both Nike. Ace from Sabalenka, 30 love. Other results, if you aren't aware of them, from around the sort of the results today, in the Brisbane men's singles, Holger Rune beat Roman Safiyudin 6-4, 7-6. The other semi-final between Jordan Thompson and Grigor Dimitrov is after this. In Hong Kong, Sebastian Offner lost to Emil Rusevori in 3 sets. Andrei Rublev, we were just talking about him, is a breakdown to Jerry Shang in the semi-finals, 3-1. Jerry Shang, or Shang Yun Chen, to use his proper name. He's actually a young Chinese player who's a bit spectacular to watch. He was in UTS, and he's just got a wild card in the Australian Open.
Oh, okay.
In the United Cup, I mean, it's early days. I think Rublev will probably break back and then get the win. But in the United Cup, Poland beat France 3-0. So Hurkacz beat Manarino in straight sets. Świątek came from a set down to beat Garcia 4-6, 6-1, 6-1. And then the secondary doubles teams kind of played it out. We've already updated on Germany in the WTA. So in the other Brisbane semi-final, Rybakina will play the winner of this match. She beat Noskova 3-2. Thank you for the donation, Matthew. What does any top 10 stand for? And does he deserve a slam more than them? I don't know what any top 10 means. But does Rublev deserve a slam? Depends on how much you like him. Oh, any of the top 10.
Deserve is
not more than Sinner.
I mean, deserve is a tough one. I mean, what's to say they don't all deserve it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think he definitely.
We'd like him to win.
I don't know. We like him. We would love to see him win one. It would have to be a situation where he just gets lucky, right? He gets an easy draw. When he gets to the quarterfinals, he doesn't run into someone like Djokovic or Medvedev. someone who's kind of has that edge over him. He'd just have to get lucky.
Bit like how he won Monte Carlo.
Exactly.
Yeah, because Monte Carlo, Alcaraz and Djokovic didn't show up. I think Alcaraz literally didn't show up, and Djokovic lost after like mid-tournament.
Yeah.
Medvedev wasn't playing either. Sinner wasn't the Superman that he is now.
I'm still skeptical on that, but sure.
Oh, I'm on board the Sinner train.
I'm skeptical of the Sinner rise. I'm not against it. I just haven't seen it yet.
He beat Djokovic twice in 2 weeks. What more do you want?
Yeah, but like Djokovic always has like a shaky start at the beginning with these like warm-up tournaments, and then he comes out swinging and nobody can touch him. That happens every year.
Okay, the group stage of the tour finals was a brilliant match, and then the Davis Cup was a semi-final. Djokovic was pretty warmed up after having just won the tour finals.
Look, I'm not denying Sinner's talent. Like I watched the Sinner Alcaraz match. Like I've seen it. I know it. But I'm just skeptical of him. Everyone's been talking about him for years about how he's going to be the next Grand Slam champ, and like, no, I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know. I'm skeptical. If it happens, I'm here for it.
Oh yeah, I look. I'm not going to say he's a multiple Grand Slam champion by any means, but I think he's probably. I would imagine he's going to win one. But we'll see. We said that about Zverev and Tsitsipas.
Like all of them.
Not all of them.
I feel like they say that about every fresh face that walks in. They're like, "Oh, this is going to be the guy."
Like, I'll tell you what, who the young male player I'm kind of like, I'm not sure. I'm yet to be convinced on like Grand Slam potential is Arthur Fils. I mean, he's only 18, but
I don't know him.
he's 18-year-old, he's French, very Zonga-esque.
Okay.
Who is a player I have actually been surprised didn't win.
Yeah. I think the only one they haven't said that about, in my memory at least, is Rude. And then he just showed up and was like,
there were a
at
couple
all
of
these
people
finals.
There's a couple of people who were big on Rude early on, but not many. You're right.
I didn't even know him until he reached his first Grand Slam final. I just like, I don't know this guy.
By the way, it's 30-all against Azarenka and Sabalenka on the Azarenka serve. 30-all. Azarenka, even though she is maybe more famous, the better returner, is the one under more pressure in her service games right now. 55 minutes on the clock, and Azarenka serves Sabalenka, huge forehand. The forehand of Azarenka, trading forehands at the minute. Azarenka nets. She's frustrated. She's yelling just in general, I think, and 30-40. She's really frustrated. She's not competing better. I like, for what I've seen in this match, she's been relatively competitive. Apologies for anyone who was hoping for commentary. This has just been sort of tennis chat with a match in the background. But I guess at the minute, it's not been an absolute barnstormer, which hasn't helped.
Yeah. When it's not super competitive, we have to find other things to talk about.
I mean,
it doesn't help that I'm like 2 games behind.
It doesn't help, yes. Azarenka's putting Sabalenka under pressure, though, and comes in behind it, forcing Sabalenka to go for a very extreme lob, which goes way over the baseline. It is deuce. So that's another break point saved. So currently, Azarenka saved 3 break points this set. Sabalenka 0 for 3 on break points this set. So we'll see what we're going to go with here. Out wide with the serve, Azarenka. Sabalenka returned. Again, Azarenka's coming in behind a lot. And again, the extreme lob from Sabalenka goes long, and it's advantage to Azarenka. Yeah. Sean making a good point, saying when a true prodigy is obvious, but it's not so common when it's difficult. Yeah, Alcaraz, it was obvious from day one.
And it happened fast. I feel like Alcaraz happened so fast. Like I heard about him, I heard all the praise, everybody comparing him to a young Roger, and then he like rose to that praise almost instantly. which nobody else had been able to do in the last like 5 years or so.
Azarenka holds 2-all. So yeah, 2-all on this service game. So again, Azarenka digging herself out of trouble. This could make the set very interesting, actually. If Azarenka just grits her teeth and holds on, maybe Sabalenka will get frustrated. Doubt it, because she's just blasting an ace past her. But it's at 189 kilometers an hour, which I don't know what that is in miles an hour. Why does everywhere except UK and the US do kilometers an hour? Makes it very difficult to know what's going on.
Oh, Matthew agrees with me about Sinner. I'm glad I'm not alone.
Well, when he wins the Australian Open, then you...
I'll eat my words. I swear. I'll sing the Italian national anthem. Like, it'll be great.
The Italian national anthem is quite fun, actually. It's probably one of the best national anthems out there. In terms of I don't actually know the words to it. It just sounds so jaunty. 13 love.
Sure.
Huge forehand from Sabalenka is too good, and Azarenka can't live with it. Okay, so CDS37, you're in the US. Yeah, you could probably watch this on Tennis Channel.
If you pay for Tennis Channel, then yeah, you can get it there. Which I unfortunately now do.
It's the only way to watch what WTA.
It was my only option because I no longer have cable. I can't get the like free access things there. But you know what's? I was talking about this with John the other day. Even if you pay for Tennis Channel, you can't access their like main court feed.
Right.
So if they have some, I don't know. So like what you're paying for is all the extra channels on all the smaller courts that they'll broadcast. But if they're playing something on their main feed, you can't watch it, even if you're paying for the subscription.
That makes no logical sense.
It's the most annoying system. I have no idea what I'm going to do for the Open, because it's also the other problem with the States is all of the different Grand Slams are the rights of those are owned by different companies in the States. So Tennis Channel probably won't actually have the rights to broadcast any of them. It'll be spread across like all these other sport channels, none of which I pay for. So I'll have to figure something out. But it's so irritating.
Do you know what? On the Ground Pass podcast that Anastasia, someone else on the Talking Tennis team, and I have started up as a podcast for new tennis fans. Our most recent episode, we went into where you can watch tennis. Huge forehand winner from Sabalenka, who screams out in celebration at 30 or maybe she felt a little bit of pressure, 40-30. But yeah, we talked about this, and yeah, Anastasia went through all the different options in the US, and I went through how to get in the UK, and unfortunately, it's just because there's so many different people working. There's so many different people involved who own different bits of tennis. It doesn't help that like it's not all on one broadcaster because they can all make their own separate deals. As we were moaning about with the WTA earlier, ace from Sabalenka to hold 3-2. Yes, Matthew, another tennis podcast. It is mainly for people who are not as into tennis or are just getting into tennis, and it's not for the hardcore fan. A lot of the stuff that Anastasia and I talk about are kind of would be obvious to a newer fan, to a super fan like us. But if you want to send a tennis podcast to people that you're like, hey, this is a podcast for people who are just getting into tennis, that's what we're doing. To answer your other question about it's very expensive for Sky to have a multi-screen red button option. If you mean, is it very expensive in the UK for us to pay? Yes. It's something like, I don't know what the exchange rate to dollars is, but it's about £40 a month.
I think that's about $60, $70
a month. Yeah.
roughly.
If you're talking about, is it expensive for Sky to put it together? No, because they do it, like it probably is, but they've got the money for it because they do it for other sports. Right now, they're not doing that. They are not formally launching their tennis coverage until Indian Wells. So they are going to create a Sky Sports tennis channel, but that's not launching until March. So they're just basically giving us what they can give us over the next couple of months because they probably figured that they're probably not going to get as many views. They don't have the Australian Open. So they've probably gone with, they've probably decided that they could easily market Indian Wells because it's late night tennis. They'll get some viewers for it. It's a big event. And that's when they're going to go in all guns blazing. But that's kind of how I would imagine it from a commercial, like operational perspective. It's not great for UK tennis fans because we're frustrated for like the next 2 months. We probably won't be able to watch whatever match we want. But I would imagine that will formally launch as part of their coverage in March. If they didn't do that, they might have shot themselves in the foot. Great serve +1 from Azarenka. Any thoughts on any of that, Isabel?
I mean, I just feel your pain.
Yeah. Matthew saying from March they'll launch a multi-screen option. They haven't said they will. This is me speculating. But I feel like, given that their Twitter is all full of tennis fans shouting at them for not having a multi-screen option, that's probably something they're looking at.
I remember with fondness the days when you could just go to the Grand Slam site and they had just streams of all the matches going on, and you could just click on one and watch that match. Those are the days.
Ferocious hitting from Sabalenka. Azarenka's running it down though. Big backhand. Try to go for the winner up the line. Goes wide. 30 love Azarenka. Yeah, it was. Sorry, that looked like a good rally. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't even knew that the Grand Slams used to do that.
Yeah, I think back in like 2010, 2011, that's how I was watching all the Grand Slams.
Oh, when I was a baby fan.
Yeah, they had like, court 1, court 2, like all just on their site. You could just click and watch. It was so easy. Now it's all gone.
I don't
so
think I
old.
would have ever been able to get away with that when I was that age, like back then, because I wasn't allowed to use a computer in my room when I was a teenager. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Grand Slam tennis, not a problem because Australian Open and French Open, and my mum likes tennis. And Wimbledon, all three. It was the US Open I could never watch. But yeah, I would have had to basically I would have only been I wouldn't have been able to go on and watch a Grand Slam match whenever I wanted. Yeah, little insight into Nick's childhood.
Oh, Sab has just missed that backhand up the line. She looks really sad about that.
Matthew, Princess Kate won't be lobbying Sky for better coverage because she can afford to pay for it.
Yeah.
Backhand up the line from Azarenka to the forehand cross court Sabalenka. Enka hitting forehands to each other cross court at the minute. No one's jokes about. It's a good angle from Sabalenka. Azarenka is putting Sabalenka into pressure. Now moving her opponent around the court. Drop shot from Azarenka. Sabalenka's going to get to it. Hit the pass way wide. Love 15. Azarenka's got the first point in the Sabalenka service game. Is this now going to be competitive? So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, BBC did used to show the Australian Open final. I remember that happening a couple of times. Yeah, just under pressure there. Azarenka's definitely stepping things up this set. And like that 6-2 set wasn't exactly a stomp down from Sabalenka.
Azarenka's looking a little more positive than Sabalenka in this set. She's like high-fiving the crowd, like pumping herself up.
Great return from Azarenka to get into play, but that's an even better backhand up the line from Sabalenka to get to 15 all. I think they both love it in Australia, right? And I think the Aussies obviously will recognise their names. I mean, if you want kind of I'd say kind of a comparison, but actually the Wimbledon champions for around when Azarenka was winning slams have all retired. I suppose this would be a bit like watching a match between Elena Rybakina and Petra Kvitova at Eastbourne or something.
Mm-hmm.
For a British tennis fan. which actually would be a very, very good match. But probably won't happen until 2025 now.
Do you think Rybakina has a good chance of making a run at this Open?
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen much of her since, I don't even know, Indian Wells last year.
Huge forehand up the winner from Sabalenka, 30-15. So she won Rome. A little bit fortunate that Iga retired in her match because I think Iga was going to win it. And yes, I will die on that hill.
Yeah, we all know how you feel about Iga, Nick.
that specific match. She was competitive in Montreal, just ran out of gas because she played that stupid late match against Kasatkina. Wimbledon, she was playing on an inspired on Jabeur in the quarters. And then just got unlucky that Pegula had a very, very good week at the WTA finals. This week, she's charged through the field. I think she's dropped. I think she's, been almost unstoppable. If I have what was her scores? I think she's definitely not dropped a set yet this tournament. She's dropped no more than 5 games in any match that she's played so far this tournament.
Okay.
So yeah, she's looking very, very good. I would put her as 3rd favorite right now behind Iga and Aryna.
You think Iga has a chance?
Oh yeah. I mean, she's unbeaten at the minute. Hasn't lost a match since September.
I guess it just depends on the draw she gets.
Yeah, I'm looking at Sabalenka's draw as well through this through Brisbane, and yeah, she's again also not dropped more than 5 games. She's bakeried an opponent in every match up until this one. She won't do that to Azarenka, I don't think. Juice, by the way, on the Sabalenka serve. This is going to get interesting. And it's not been broken yet. Who's not been broken yet, Andy? Is that Rybakina or Sabalenka?
Sabalenka, I think.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me actually. Yes, Sabalenka's not been broken the entire tournament. So I really want that Sabalenka Rybakina final right now because that's going to be very much huge.
He's so good.
Yeah. Oh God. It might, although Azarenka's got something to say that because she's put Sabalenka into pressure and Sabalenka's gone forehand into the net. Break point Azarenka. Are we gonna say? Oh no, it's Rybakina's not been broken yet this tournament. Are we gonna say that Sabalenka's going to get broken and maybe even drop a set? Oh, Kasatkina's broken Sabalenka at one point during their match.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and Azarenka's fist pumping. She's fist pumping. Gets ready. She's getting ready to receive this Sabalenka serve. What's it going to be? We know she can get the returns in court. First serve wide from Aryna Sabalenka. Bouncing the ball. She's trying to reset. Ball boy's picking up the ball on the other side. Sabalenka waits for the ball kid to settle down and then bounces the ball again. Gets into the service motion. Her much improved service motion after her seeing the biomechanics expert. Backhand in play from Azarenka. Backhand up the line. Winner from Sabalenka. That was too good. Azarenka got there, but there was actually too much pace for her to even hope to swing the racket in time. Had its juice. Break point saved by Sabalenka. A great backhand return. And the backhand from Sabalenka was just even better. And you can't see this, which is why you're not reacting.
I'm only just getting to that break point now.
8 from Sabalenka. Advantage to the number 1 seed, the number 2 player in the world. So advantage to Aryna Sabalenka. And I'll come back to your point on Iga Swiatek and whether she's going to win the Australian Open, or whether she has a chance of winning the Australian Open, I should say. Great serve out wide from Sabalenka, but Azarenka gets it back in. But it's another follow-up backhand scooped up from the ground that's too good up the line. And Sabalenka holds serve with aplomb. As John would say. But yeah, Iga. She's on a winning streak. She actually quite likes playing in Australia, I think. She's actually had some pretty good results and some close calls to get further than she has. I think she was out of gas a little bit against Collins in that semi-final that they played in 2022. And then last year, Rebecca was on fire and also not a great matchup on this surface for Iga. So, yeah, I would say, to be honest, I think Swiatek is in the mix. A lot of people are putting her as the favourite, including people from Talking Tennis. So, I don't know whether I would, even though I'm a fan. I still favour Sabalenka slightly as the overall top favourite, but I do think Iga's played well enough in Australia, despite maybe not necessarily expecting her game to be. Oh, there you go. There's a video on it on the channel, so go check that out once this commentary's done. I think her results in Australia kind of show that she can compete here and isn't going to get overwhelmed super easy. I think she was a couple of games away from her first Grand Slam quarterfinal back in 2020. She lost to Contivate in like 3 tight sets that were all like 7-5, 7-6. And that was before she went into Roland Garros mode. So I think she's definitely. I think she's got a good chance of winning the Australian Open.
All right, I'll take your word for it. I'd be interested to see a matchup with her and Sabalenka or her and Rebecca. I don't know how the.
I know what you mean.
land
Like
in the draw.
on the fast surface, it does favour those two players. I would agree with you there.
But
Great.
I'd love to see her play either one of them.
Oh, great retrieval of a drop shot from Sabalenka that's forced Azarenka to run back. And then Azarenka's had to run back up to the net to retrieve another drop shot, passes Sabalenka, threads the needle, 15 love. That was a really fun rally. I'm going to have to check
They're still at the change of ends on my side.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I was just going to have a look at the live scores. I mean, how are you thinking about Azarenka's playing? Do you think she's holding her own a bit better at the minute?
She is holding a little better, but I mean, Sabalenka's backhand is just so murderous. Like she just, even for Azarenka, she just can't return it. I've seen that so many times in this match already. All she can really do is hold on her own serve. I don't think she can really compete with her when Sabalenka is serving. She's too good.
Yeah.
But I am fading a little bit. It is 2:00 in the morning.
Oh my word! Yes.
So I'm sort of struggling to pay attention.
What's going on? There's tennis. Who are you? Great rally going on at the minute. Backhand Sabalenka to the backhand of Azarenka. Really tight angle there. Slice from Sabalenka. Azarenka has to just get to it. The Sabalenka slice was just too good. Oh no, she just missed it. It's just wide. 40 love. What are you going wow at?
The opening rally for this game with that lob from Sabalenka, backhand cross court from Azarenka with that little lob from Sabalenka, and she just forehand just by her. I love that. And then Sabalenka literally just like throwing her head back, like, how could I miss that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. We've had some good rallies this game. It's 40 love Azarenka, which is going to have a second serve here.
I'm at 30 love.
Azarenka bouncing the ball. Serves. Middle of the box. Backhand on an attack from Sabalenka is too good. That was a monstrous return. That was too short from Azarenka. Sabalenka was all over it. Backhand cross court. Forcing an error. 40-15. By the way, in Hong Kong, Jerry Shang is a setup on Andrei Rublev, 6-4.
It's going to be a real hit to Ruby's confidence.
So, yeah, that's... Rublev made it competitive. I still think Rublev's going to come back in this match, but we'll see how it goes. Huge backhand from Sabalenka, who then follows up with a backhand volley that's overhit and it's game. Azarenka maybe got herself out a little bit out of trouble in that. Maybe got a little bit lucky in that game. Sabalenka made a few errors. 4-all for second set. We're in. Hopefully this match will get a little bit more exciting to keep Isabel awake. I mean, it's not exciting.
No, not at all. The rallies are a little shorter than I would have expected, but they're still good.
It's still good. It's still good.
God, Sabalenka just hits that so hard. It scares me to see it.
I don't know how she can, and like, this is one of the best Sabalenka matches I've watched. From her perspective, I don't know how she hits the ball so hard with so much margin.
Yeah. Like the control that she has around that is just incredible.
Yeah, and obviously that's got to be something that she's worked on throughout her whole career. That's a fantastic backhand return from Victoria Azarenka off a second serve. It hits a winner. It's just really awkward, and it's love 15. And Azarenka's really shouting. She's really jigging herself up. There's a lot of come-ons. Yeah, so that's we're saying this, but yeah, Sabalenka. I mean, like, she's so. She's obviously been around since 2019 and has been showing, or even 2018, she's showing so much potential. It's been a bit of a journey for her, but I'm glad she's here now.
Yeah, it's been a surprise that she hasn't been as dominant as you would think, even after fixing her serve. I kind of thought after that, like, oh, it'll just be the Aryna show, and it hasn't. It hasn't. It's like, I mean, women's tennis is just like that all the time now.
Yeah.
But it is, when you see her play this well, it is kind of shocking. And you're like, how has she not won everything?
I really want, do you know what, if Osaka gets back to where she was, an Osaka Sabalenka match would be gorgeous. Love 30, by the way. So Sabalenka under a little bit of pressure at the minute. Interestingly, we've got people watching matches all over the place at the minute. Huge serve from Sabalenka is unreturnable, 15-30. Just on Jerry Shang, I've just looked him up because I'm like, we've been talking about him for a year now. How old is he? He's 18. So it's probably one of the reasons why we probably haven't heard of him yet. But so probably a young player with a lot of potential. And with him being Chinese, that's a massive market that's probably going to be pushed.
Apparently Diminar and Zverev are playing.
Yeah, United Cup.
High level stuff. Diminar's forehand is looking different. I've heard good things about Diminar this so far.
Yeah,
he's a real underdog.
Without having something. I'm talking over you. I'm sorry. Carry on.
There you go. I've always liked Diminar. He's always kind of an underdog. I feel like people really don't expect much of him going into every tournament, but I hold hope every year that he'll get a little higher each time.
So will all the Aussie fans. By the way, 15-40 break points for Victoria Azarenka. Sabalenka, first serve in play, but Azarenka scrambles it back over the net. Sabalenka's coming to the net. That forehand is huge. Absolutely huge. Azarenka cannot reach it. That was a venomous forehand from Aryna Sabalenka to save the first break point, 30-40. If nothing else, me yelling is going to keep you awake.
I'm trying real hard. I'm like, I'm here.
Like, if you have to give up, just let me know.
I could probably make it.
I can do this.
It's not like I have anywhere to be tomorrow.
Don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Me, the introvert.
I mean, it's a Saturday, so it's really a good thing.
Sabalenka serve, second serve. Oh, really? She hits it right where Azarenka was running to, forcing Azarenka to stop and try and improvise a backhand, but that had no hope of going in, and now it's juice. That was some Huge play from Sabalenka to save those 2 break points. It feels like at the minute Azarenka's the one pushing. Whereas opposed to the first set and a bit where it was Sabalenka really getting into it, Azarenka's worked her way into every Sabalenka service game now. Can't work her way into that though. That's nice.
I mean, Sabalenka's really coming up with the shots, though. I think she's really leaning on her just like raw power more than anything.
But it's working, like, and that's what we're
Oh
saying.
yeah,
It's not like Ostapenko when she relies on her power too much and it's gone horribly wrong, or it goes horribly wrong. Unreturnable serve from Sabalenka, game 5-4, change of ends. Trying to think of other women's players where they overhit. I mean, Rusa against Raducanu in that opening round has a lot of power, not a lot of control over it. And that's what Emma exploited to kind of get through the opening round. Ostapenko can control the power, but she usually drops sets on the way.
very infrequently. Yeah.
Frequently enough to get a top 20 in the world.
Yeah, I mean, she did beat Iga this year, or this past year. I guess I shouldn't criticize.
And actually, you know, if she'd beaten Azarenka yesterday, Ostapenko would have potentially been back in the top 10.
Oh. Not so.
No, because Azarenka won that match. Azarenka, if she wins this match, will be back in the top 20. Otherwise, she's going to be out a little bit. Also, having said that, top 20 would be the seeding slot because we've had about 4 top 20 players withdraw in the women's section. There being Mukova, Kvitova, Keys, and Bencic.
I would love to see Pegula have a good run.
Yeah.
Here in Australia. She's another player that has surprisingly not made it to like the final stage.
Yeah, she's the Rublev.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if she's the Rublev because she's not as what did someone in the comments say earlier, self-inflictive.
Yes.
Yeah, she's definitely not as hard on herself. She seems very level-headed, but I want her to do well. And she does. She does great. I mean, she's already had a #1 ranking, I think.
In doubles, yes.
Yeah, in doubles, she's been in the top 5. Like she's done really well. Obviously, she's having a great career, but I would love to see her win a slam and join that sort of group that we've got going on right now.
I mean, I think it would be a benefit. And like she's definitely like the 5th person in the top group, but yeah, she's got a lot of potential. Oh, Azarenka's kind of doubled over at the minute, having seen another Sabalenka win a blasted cross court on the forehand. Yeah, let's have a look. She stretched to reach a backhand and then is wincing very audibly and didn't really run for that forehand. Yeah, so no, she was doubled over, clutching her knee. Love 15.
Oh, God.
Gets back on. No, she's fine. She's going on with serving. I think it's obviously just a twinge that she's felt, and the situation's making it feel worse, maybe. Oh, but that first serve kind of flops into the net.
Twinges can be kind of the worst, though.
Shakes her shoulders, kind of seems to wake herself up, moves to the forehand, goes cross court. Sabalenka moves to the cross court, then changes direction with the backhand, but puts it into the net, 15-all. And Sabalenka's looking frustrated because she knows she was up in that rally. Yeah, Azarenka looking like, yeah, she could run a little bit. Watching her there. Oh no, it wasn't her. Was it a knee or a hip that she was clutching?
I'm looking at it now. I think it's her knee.
That's what I thought. The replay suggested it would be a hip, but she's really aggressively coming into that behind a shot and then hits a forehand cross-court volley, 30-15. Some really aggressive play, but she's definitely wincing right now, Azarenka.
Oh, it could be her hip. She's not clutching her knee. She's sort of just like crouched. Yeah, that could have been her hip.
Hip's nasty there, especially when you're trying to serve.
Yeah. And she hit She hit the ground really hard. She looked like she was kind of like getting ready to like twist, but yeah, that could have been her hip. Oof, ouch.
She's put that first serve into the net again. That's definitely and she's leaning back and stretching like this in between serves. Second serve goes up the tee. Great placement. Forehand up the line. Backhand Sabalenka on the attack. Chopped back by Azarenka in the court. Backhand Sabalenka to the backhand, sliced by Azarenka. Long, 30 all. And Sabalenka's again doubling over and clutching her hip. I think Azarenka needs to, hopefully it's late enough in a match that she can finish it and then get some treatment on it, and then it'll recover in time for Australia. But I would recommend her not playing next week if that was the plan.
I'm sure she'll take your advice into account.
I mean, I don't know if she's actually entered into a tournament next week, to be fair.
What is next week?
Hobart, which is a 250 and 500 in Adelaide. Right. Backhand up the line from Sabalenka, comes in behind it, sliced. Forehand, Azarenka attempt at the passing is wide, and it's match point for Aryna Sabalenka.
Well, that was fast.
Yeah. Sabalenka kind of came in behind it, put pressure on. Azarenka's trying to focus on the point right now, geeing herself on, trying to keep herself going. What can she do? Can she save this match point? She saved break points already. First serve in play, but a bit of pace taken off it. Backhand into that Azarenka. The match is done. Aryna Sabalenka walks up to the net. Azarenka Azarenka walking up, wincing a little bit. They hug, sort of reluctantly. I think Sabalenka was going for the handshake. Azarenka wanted to give her a hug. Sabalenka eventually just accepted the hug, and much like what happens when anyone tries to hug me. And there was that awkward social interaction that happens at after every tennis match.
I'm still at 30 all. Not even there yet.
We'll get there in the end. We'll get there in the end.
Okay, here we are, match point, finally.
Yeah, and then we'll get your thoughts on that match, depending on how much attention you were able to play for it. Can you reject a hug gracefully, Sean? I don't know. I've never tried. I mean, I would be tempted to respond with "No, thank you. I'm trying to give them up," but that would just sound weird.
You know, I've said similar things before, like because I'm not big into it, so someone will come to try to do that, and I'll just go, "No, thanks." Just close off, step back, or just like hand out. No. So there's the end of the match.
Yeah, I have a mental list of people I'm okay hugging me.
Okay, so who does Sabalenka play in the next round here?
In the final, Rybakina.
Oh, yes.
That's going to be such a good match. Yes. And it's probably going to be same sort of time. Yeah, I'm definitely watching that one. I think it's going to be good. Isabella's so excited that she's choking. She can't deal with it.
Fighting off a bit of a cold.
Oh. Staying up until 2 a.m. is probably not the smartest move with that then.
Probably not.
But yeah, what were your thoughts on that match from what you could kind of tell?
It's not really what I expected. I thought Vika would hold a little easier and I thought she would be able to match that power a little bit more from Sabalenka because she's also a pretty hard hitter, you know, and she's, as we've discussed at length, one of the best returners. So I didn't really I don't think she was really at her level today. So, and you know, I think if that one little move she had hurt her hip that badly, then I think something else must be going on that we don't know about. So it's a little sad. It sucks to sort of end the match injured, but yeah, kind of a shame for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I thought it might be more competitive, but I did think Sabalenka would have the edge. I was hoping for a third set, and I think if Azarenka hadn't tweaked her hip, maybe we would have got one. But also have to say, the way Sabalenka saved those break points was brilliant. And she found, as we were talking earlier, she used her weaponry, her natural power to great effect, and pulled out some incredibly high-level shots when she needed them. And that's why that she didn't get broken today. So
Yeah, she's taking no prisoners.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. She's probably relieved right now. She's getting interviewed. I know it was being said. She's probably just relieved that there isn't another celebrity watching her today.
Who was watching her before?
Yesterday, she was told that Jude Law was watching her match. And apparently that's a big deal. I don't know. I'm like, okay. But that would be my reaction. Like, okay.
Yeah, all right, sure.
Hey, Jude. No. But
well, it'll be a great final in Brisbane.
Yes.
A rematch of last year's Open final with Rybakina and Sabalenka.
I feel like a lot of Australians are going to be tuning in for that one.
Oh, yeah. Very exciting. I'll tune into that one, even if it's at midnight again.
Yeah. It would be a bit like Djokovic and Alcaraz playing each other in the Queen's final.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'll be tuning in for that one, for sure. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we're gonna? I don't know. I haven't seen Rybakina yet, but if she's kind of dropped fewer games than Aryna, it's hard to say who's in the better form right now. I think it's going to be one of those two unstoppable forces kind of hitting each other.
Yeah, I mean,
Really
I
hard to call
think.
which way.
Well, I think Sabalenka definitely has more of that raw power that we've talked about. Not that Rybakina doesn't, but it's just a step above, I think, on Sabalenka's side. However, I think Rybakina is the slightly more consistent player. She's definitely more cooled, so she can handle high pressure moments a little better than Sabalenka can. Although with each match I see Sabalenka, and she does get better with everything.
Yeah, I think Rebecca's won their last two meetings actually, because she won Indian Wells and she won in Beijing, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, she won in Beijing.
I would probably give the edge to Rybakina if she's been playing as well as we say.
Yeah, I would be tempted to. I don't know. I think it's just gonna be. I think it's gonna be close.
Yeah,
and I'd say whoever. I would say this: if Rybakina wins that match against Sabalenka, I'm gonna have to seriously rethink who I'm gonna have to put her in the AO contenders, because if she loses, then that keeps Sabalenka and Świątek kind of a slight step above. If Rybakina wins that match, she's putting herself in the mix on equal footing with them, in my view.
Well, we'll just have to see. I think that final will probably be tomorrow night?
Tomorrow, yeah. I don't know what time exactly yet, probably, because obviously they've got to do the men's final as well, which, well, one of them is Holger Rune. We'll find out the other semi-final. We'll find out the other finalist in about 15 minutes with James and I. And James is in the chat. Rybakina isn't one of my contenders already, Nick. One of my contenders already. She is, but I was putting her slightly behind Świątek and Sabalenka. Like, I think the Women's Australian Open is going to be won by one of the top 4 seeds. That's fairly obvious. What order I would put them in is the question. And I was originally putting Rybakina just slightly behind, but this week is kind of making me rethink that. So yeah, I'll go and so yeah, James is going to be covering the men's semi-final, and I'll be joining him for a bit. Whereas you are going to get some sleep.
Yes, I will, but it's been fun doing streams with you again, Nick. I look forward to the rest of the season, and I'm sure I'll see you at the Open.
Yeah, I will. I look forward to some more streams with you, Isabel, whether I'm on them or not. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the Australian Open as well. And I hope you all are too. So if you want to catch our coverage of the semi-final between Jordan Thompson and Grigor Dimitrov. Come join us in about 10 minutes. Otherwise, we'll see you another day. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.